I looked at him the first time they put the camera on. I said, look at him. That boy got a clean collar shirt on. I appreciate you, Kalen DeBoer. That was the only upgrade he made all season. All off season, the only thing that Kalen DeBoer changed about anything he was doing.
Not going to live in regret. Not going to live in regret. We got to go fix it and be better because of it and evaluate the film.
Buddy, this ain't Alabama football right here. That is not Alabama football.
And here we go.
Now, I wish I wouldn't have had to do this, right? You dig what I'm saying? I hate that I got to make this episode. But it must be done. It must be done. We just got the start of our college football season. Now, let me rephrase that. I hate to have to make the video that I'm making right now. You dig what I'm saying? But I had a feeling that it was going to be necessary, and I'd be damned if I was not correct. Now, far be it from me to tell someone how to do a job that, I guess, quite honestly, I can't perform. Or I don't choose to perform. I didn't perform. I'm not in that industry. So far be it from me to tell them how to perform at their job. But I do think that I got enough sense and sensibility out here and enough experience in the world to know what is expected of you according to how you're paid to perform said task. You dig what I'm saying? Let's put it right there, man. Let's preface this thing like that, right? And so with that being said, we just got our college football season started. You dig what I'm saying? And I've always said on this channel who I'm a supporter of, being the Alabama Crimson Tide.
I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, baby.
I don't give a piss about nothing but Tide. Blitz, Bama, blitz, baby.
Blitz, Bama, blitz. I love America and I love the Tide, baby. And I love Will and Adele.
Yeah, right.
Don't give a shit about piss but the Tide.
And that is a painful statement right about now. Not because I expect to win every game. When Nick Saban was around, I think we kind of had an era about that. We expected to go in there and make them quit every game. And for the most part, we did. You dig what I'm saying? It's not that I expect that. You did. But what we saw on Saturday against the one Florida State Seminoles, and to just be quite honest, what we saw from them all last season, it leaves a lot to be desired and leaves a lot to speak on now. It's a couple different branches to attack. We're going to start at the head of the beast. Actually, we're going to go above.
That upper room, nigga. The upper room.
We're going to go a couple levels up, to be honest. All right, so Kalen DeBoer, former coach of the Washington Huskies. Before that, the Fresno State Bulldogs. Winning records at both institutions. You did. At Washington, he had Mr. Michael Penix. That fella's out there with the Atlanta Falcons now. You dig what I'm saying? Had a fabulous couple of seasons. Last season, it is reported he had an all-world offensive line. The boys went to the national championship and got dismantled. You understand? Okay. A month or so later, Kalen DeBoer becomes the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide on the heels of one Nick Saban abruptly retired, right? Of course, Nick Saban had a lot to do with the hiring process. And Greg Byrne, the AD. A lot of people are throwing Richard Sexton's name around. This is the big time agent for all these coaches and players and all of that. And, his job is to vie for the biggest contract for his client. And, the bigger percentage he gets. Can't really beat him up there. But, when you have one person that's representing a huge number of the big names, it's like a coaching carousel, man. And so, He's pushing for them to get signed. He doesn't really have anything to do with the football know-how and the promotion or the prosperity of any particular program. You dig what I'm saying? But man, bro, those forces came together, my nigga, to put us in the situation where it's like this is horrible to watch. Greg Byrne offered, from what I understand, Kalen DeBoer $70 million. I think over 7 years.
Alabama fans, how you feeling today? You are 0-1, and if you want to fire your head coach, think again. If DeBoer is fired, he would earn up to 90% of his remaining deal in monthly installments. That means if he makes it through the season and gets canned on December 1st, Alabama would owe him $60 million. Right now, if he was fired during the regular season, he would get $63 million.
7 years, $70 million to become the head coach at Alabama. And first of all, I look at that, I'm like, hold on, bro. How do you get strong-armed into 7? If Greg Byrne really looking and Nick Saban, but from what I understand, Kalen DeBoer was down the line. From what I understand, Dan Lanning, I know Dan Lanning, Mike Norvell, the guy that just beat us. Apparently, they were on the list ahead of Mr. DeBoer. Lane Kiffin apparently didn't get a call back. And now let's just talk about that. Why would the administration at Alabama not call Lane Kiffin? If you look back at the history of it, those Lane years at OC, you could catch Lane over there on the sideline like this at any given time during the contest. He doesn't draw something up. He see it. Exciting times. They talked about how the man acted and, I guess his past record. If his past record was such a big deal, Nick wouldn't have brought him in. Nick gave him the cosign. They might want to say, about what happened and when he got his job. I don't know, man. But Alabama, bro. I could speak on the whole state, and maybe I will towards the end of this thing. But apparently, Lane Kiffin did not get an entertaining call. I got a name I'll throw in the hat as we go on down. Maybe let's develop this thing out a little bit more. You dig what I'm saying? $70 million over 7 years. So, of course, the buyout is in and around there still this time. And I don't know how much you all pay attention to Alabama football. At this point, it's kind of hard not to see. But Kalen Boer, that might be his new name, Kalen Boer. He's not the man for the job, bro. Let's just call a spade what a spade is. Like, you understand what I'm saying? I ain't saying this man cannot coach football. It's obvious that he can at certain levels. But this being the SEC, bro, I won't say more so than the players and the personnel, because you got to have that. But, I mean, just think about it, bro. It makes sense when you've got, 4 and 5 star dogs, by the masses in your program. It takes a personality that is viewed as at least equal, most of the time greater than. You know what I'm saying? To corral those attitudes, bro, and get the best out of them. Make them feel like that they really ain't shit for real.
What'd you do when you were a kid? Play Nintendo? What are we doing? Your hands are back here, man. Might as well stick them up your... Kiss my ass. Now, run around again. Damn it.
Them dudes that played for Nick Saban, they probably knew in a one-on-one fight they'll whoop Nick ass. But I think they thought twice about it. I think they looked at that little short, little angry little man and said, man, yeah, I think I'll whoop his ass, but bro, he liable to put up a hell of a fight. You feel me? At his big age, 60-something, 70-something years old. You dig what I'm saying? And you got to be able to have that kind of sweat, man. Kalen Boy ain't got that. Bro, did y'all see that game on Saturday?
Rushing season with the Eagles. And now they do give it on the jet motion.
Buddy, this ain't Alabama football right here. That is not Alabama football.
I've heard of one Dan Orlovsky, and he's not a guy that I'm particularly fond of, but apparently he looked at the film and pointed out about 20 instances. Nigga lollygag and I had bullshitting around. I saw plenty of it. I mean, you could just see how fast they were getting ran by. You know, they had a big stop in the game. Or no, Florida State had a big stop. They turn around and the first, second play from scrimmage, these boys just get beat. I mean, and you just look at the DBs around them. It's like, bro, they can't be that slow. Like, what's going on? I'm telling you, bro. But a lot of other teams are playing hard, so I don't even know if I can make this point. Like, I got feelings about that NIL and making 17, 18-year-olds rich. You dig what I'm saying? Grown men get unfocused when they get their little re-up contracts and this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? They max contracts or what have you. So it's like, man, I'm looking at these young cats and I'm like, that's got to affect them. I feel like that's what happened to Jalen Milroe last year. I think he got that NIL money. You know what I'm saying? And got him too much swag, bro. Got unfocused, already rich. You dig? I think the same thing happened with a one Arch Manning. You know what I'm saying? Touting him all summer. Big time NIL deal at the top of the pile. Heisman Trophy shoe in. He came out and looked like a shoe. Like Mother Mary, Mother Goose's shoe. Ain't that the rhyme? He looked like the bottom of somebody's shoe. That's the type of game he had. Back to Alabama, though. Our quarterback, Ty Simpson, I had ultimate faith in him coming into the game. He looked pretty pedestrian, man. He didn't make any huge mistakes, but he didn't do anything huge on the other end as well. And then it's like, bro, when you break it down, you look at the game. Ty Simpson is one area. Now we got a young Keelan Russell behind him, and if Kalen DeBoer is interested in keeping his job, I think he should give him a look. You dig what I'm saying? Going forward, they play ULM next week. It might be a good time to put a young Keelan Russell in there and see what he can do. You dig what I'm saying? But the quarterback position was one thing. In the running game, we were without Jam Miller, and apparently going to be without him for a couple of games. Okay. Well, on the first drive of the game, we had running back by committee, 3-4 catch getting it done. I will say, what his name? Richard. I forget his last name. Bro, he runs like the top of his body is too big. He already leaning up. The minute he gets the ball, it's like he's got a limited number of yards before his forward momentum is taking him to the ground. All you have to do is reach out and touch him. And it was so frustrating watching this man. It's like he has no a possibility of a stiff arm, a juke to the side. He just run and immediately start falling over like his head is too heavy for his spine. This is our next up, Richard Young. He been there about 7 years, seem like. And I hate to be on, but these little y'all niggas making enough bread now to where they can get this smoke. You dig what I'm saying? I want to see the team prosper, but goddamn it, I'm on your head. So yeah, Richard Young runs as if he has too much fluid in and around his cerebellum area that just torpedoes him into the ground. We had a couple other little cats get some yards, but after that first drive, which I felt great about, it was a 7-8 minute drive, score a touchdown. I said, we good money. Let's get out and play some defense, come back with a couple more of them drives. We take us on to the house. Man, Florida State came on offense, bro, and you know, I think that transferred over to the offense. They looking at little bro Castellanos, watching them stunt. And you know, man, so many things I gotta hit on in this video, bro. You know, Florida State won 2 games last year, 2-10. Coming off a year before that where they got snubbed out of the playoffs for a one-seed Alabama. Because Alabama won the SEC championship. Come back last year, Mike Norvell and the Florida State Seminoles go 2-10. Kalen DeBoer finally, got his type of quarterback. He got Ryan Grubb back. He cried last year about needing Ryan Grubb to be in there and get the offense going or what have you. Whatever Womack coaches defense, Grubb offense. So yeah, he put the band back together. Trash season. Trash outlook. Every time they put the camera on Kalen DeBoer, bro, I get more and more pissed off. Like, why is he such a slough, bro? Like, I looked at him the first time they put the camera on. I said, look at him. That bro got a clean collar shirt on. I appreciate you, Kalen DeBoer. That was the only upgrade he made all season. All off season, the only thing that Kalen DeBoer changed about anything he was doing outside of bringing in Ryan Grubb was find a collar shirt to wear. You know, that's the running back committee. That's the coach. I'm going to keep coming back to all these. Let's move on to the wide receivers. Then we'll come on in. Wide receivers. Number 5, Jerry Bernard. You get the game ball, sir. Jerry Bernard went crazy. Over 150 yards. Stayed open. All-world 17-year-old from last year that I guess is 18 now. I don't know what to say about Ryan Williams. After the first half of last year, he more or less tailed off anyway. His last 6 games of the year weren't so good. For as much as I can see him running his routes when the camera pans or this, that, and the third, it doesn't seem to me, and I think I heard it last year, which last year was to be expected. It wasn't a big deal. They said that he wasn't really a crispy route runner. Okay. Fresh out of high school, true fresh. That's legitimate. I looked up last night, you know what I'm saying, and I had bro for 4 catches. He got 5, but he also dropped 3, and they were 2-3 big ones for first downs and all this. He jumping up in the air to catch the ball. You know, last year was a little guy from Georgia. I think that was last year. And he had started to get a bit of the yips. Every time the ball, right before the ball got there, he jump in the air and throw himself off. Ryan Williams was doing that yesterday. I'm not really what that's all about, because you couldn't be jumping in the air to brace yourself for a hit, because that's going to put you in a more vulnerable place. You don't have 10 toes down on nothing. You just a rag doll up in the air. So I'm not understanding that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, these cats here these days, they different, bro. And I ain't going to hold you. Like, I got to speak on a couple things, because, you know, I look at him when I see him, bro, and bro always having fun. He always grinning with a funny little look on his face and posing different. And then it's like, you know, I see shit like this.
Got to finish up with the top coat, makes it shine, last longer. All done and ready to enjoy my birthday and the big game.
And I'm like, what part of swag is that? What part of being different? What part of standing on business is that, bro? Like, it ain't nothing slick about painting fingernails for a dude, bro. That's some little yachty lame shit. It's probably, you can count on your hands the number of guys that are visible out here in the world with painted fingernails. Like, it ain't even it. Like, what is even, you can't convince me that chicks like it. You telling me it's a chick out there see Ryan Williams or any of the other niggas with painted fingernails, like, oh, that's so cute. I really want to bend over and get naked for you. I don't see that, bro. So, like, what is the whole deal with that? I looked at it the way he was getting missing balls and stuff out there. I'm like, damn, this nigga don't want to chip his fingernail, dude. I'm just saying, my nigga. Number 80 tight end had a couple decent catches, but I think he also dropped a couple, or maybe, you know, bad throws from the quarterback. Let's talk about this last piece as far as the offensive side. The offensive line. Now, last year, these boys are supposed to be all world. Caden Proctor, whoever the hell else was on the line. Gapped up all year. And it was so crazy because they gapped up. Jalen Muro got a scramble, but he wouldn't take the advantage of the space. I don't know if they told him to sit back there and try to beat his passing quarterback. It was just all bad. We come back this year, and I knew that they weren't any better when this right here happened. Sir, with the amount of money that I'm sure the University of Alabama gave you to come to the program, I don't see a world where he could have looked me in my face and said, I'm coming back. That let me know he had made no moves on that offensive line as far as bringing talent in. If you let somebody that transferred and left the school come right back a week or so later, That'd have been your bed to sleep in and your mistake to own, sir. But I knew then the offensive line had made no strides. And we look at that game Saturday, gapped up everywhere. You dig what I'm saying? They did a little decent blocking in that first drive, man, but it was just a horrible. It was just a horrible showing for how the season ended last year and the expectations. And I don't know if he thinks he's on the hot seat or he knows he's not. Or I don't think he knows he's not. This is Alabama, and
I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, baby. I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. Blitz, Bama, blitz, baby. Blitz, Bama, blitz. I love America and I love the Tide, baby. And I love Will and Adele. Yeah, right. I don't give a shit about piss but the Tide.
you know, a lot of things I can say about the state of Alabama, but these people here are they are of a particular breed. You dig what I'm saying? We don't have a pro team. We don't have a lottery. We don't have a lot of things in Alabama. So they ride and die for that Tide, bro. And so we're gonna see where we're gonna see where they hard at now, because we're gonna see if they're comfortable with losing, coming from where we were. All the people talking shit out of the SEC teams coming up. And I will say, you can just Alabama exposes itself. I think in this climate of college football, right? You watch any other team on Saturday, and you will hear such and such big name transfer played for BYU last year, Michigan, South Carolina. You dig what I'm saying? On somebody else's squad. They going out spending that check, bro, putting it together. Ohio State, crazy with it. Texas, crazy with it. Most of these schools you watch, you're going to hear a big name player from another program. And in 5 or 6 instances, they were players from Alabama. Caleb Downs gone. JoJo Early gone. DB down. Earl Little Jr. knocking heads for Florida State Saturday. Getting for Florida State came from Bama. Amari Not Black. I mean, come on, bro. Isaiah Buns of the world. Julian Sand up there in Ohio State. Alabama. You dig what I'm saying? So you watch other teams and you hear various players from Alabama that left and went to play for them. But you don't hear that not one time when they're talking about the Alabama program. They didn't go out and get any free agents. You dig what I'm saying? Ain't spending no money. Old money. If you ain't got old money in Alabama, they don't want you to get rich. It's so crazy, bro. And I think that's a combination of the state of Alabama and just the overall atmosphere. I think it's an unwillingness to play for Kalen DeBoer. He just doesn't seem to have a fire up under him. Not spending money, you know what I'm saying? A couple of these things, man. And so, I look at this landscape, where we go from here. Defense overall was get out of here.
We were not surprised by anything. We were prepared for a number of things that they were doing, including some of the trick plays and a number of their run game things. We did not play to the level that we are capable of as a defense, and so we've got to own that. As a coaching staff, we got to own that as players, which I think we are. But I have great confidence in our guys that they will get that corrected and quickly.
No one made a name for themselves on defense on Saturday. As a whole, they was trash. And so I look and say, what we're doing from here, cuz I'm honest. I'm going to be honest when I say it, I think you may have heard it here first. You probably heard it from a couple places. But as I look at the schedule, I feel like Georgia is an L. I feel like LSU is an L. I feel like Tennessee is an L. I feel like South Carolina is an L. I hate to say it, but bro, Auburn is likely an L if we judging from what we saw. Now, if they make some strides, then we'll keep up with it. But from what I saw, and I don't anticipate it getting better, it didn't get better last year. We could easily be a 5-6 loss team this year, but I feel like that would be a blessing in disguise, because in the state of Alabama, you're talking about Auburn doing well, LSU doing well. Oh man, I do believe that will usher Mr. Kalen DeBoer out of town. You dig what I'm saying? And on to some different pastures, man, because this is just crazy. It's one thing to lose a football game. They don't do ties in college football. So somebody's gonna lose, bro. But it's always the way you lose. A 17-10 defensive slobber knocker, we could deal with that. You're talking about going up 7-0 out the gate and eventually never gaining the lead back and losing that game by 2 touchdowns, in which you were favored by 2 touchdowns. Kalen DeBoer never won a game when he was trailing. If I understand the stat correctly, in the 8 games that Bama was favored by 2 touchdowns, he's 4-4. This is the first season opener that Alabama has lost in 25, 30 years, a very long time. It's nothing good about what's going on. And when you hear him talk,
you guys had 7 drives that ended in Florida State territory. I think you only came to points 3 times. What kind of led to you guys being unable to finish?
That's probably what I know from a frustration standpoint. That's the thing that is frustrating. And so, you win the game, and you look at those those drives, and you're saying, hey, there's first downs that you're piecing together. You're giving yourself chances. But when you lose the game, you look at it, and you got to understand that there's got to be a competitive stamina. It was a long drive, the first one, and it was hard work. You had to execute. You had to make some big plays. And you did it. Now you got to go back out there and you got to do it again. You got to stack play after play after play. And we'd have a negative play or that missed opportunity. There were some opportunities out there that we either didn't give ourselves a chance to make or just missed. And so. Not going to live in regret. We got to go fix it and be better because of it, and evaluate the film and move on.
It's like, maybe we don't have as good a team as we thought. Of course you don't. Don't talk to me about these recruiting classes. I had to tell somebody on X the other day. A recruiting class is one thing. Recruits aren't getting that big NIL money because they're not proven. You can go and get a roster full of niggas coming out of high school that, for the sake of getting that scholarship and going and committing to your school, at least right now, that's nothing. These teams out here that's winning and playing ball, I ain't talking about who they brought in from high school last year, unless you're talking about Jeremiah Smith, a phenom, or Caleb Downs. They talking about they commercials got the players they just want to spend that check on, huh? That's finna come in and knock some heads. They proven head knockers and Jew jockers out here. Man, come on, bro. It's horrible. But I feel like it's a blessing in disguise, man. I don't fault Kalen DeBoer for taking the lick. If you're willing to offer me $70 million, if you chomp enough to let Richie Sexton flex you into thinking I'm worth $70 million, and if you don't give me $70 million over 7 years, I'm not gonna sign here. Okay. But how could Greg Byrne have been so dumb? Like, bro, come on. You ain't turning down a 3-year, $40 million deal. But, I don't know if it's a good old boys club and they just throwing money to people they like or whatever, bro. But they should have been at the door of a Lane Kiffin, because I don't think Dan Lanning was ever going to leave Oregon. Mike Norvell was in the same boat as Kalen DeBoer at the time. So I don't see that as a good branch to go down. But I will tell you, in ending out this video, I will tell you what the University of Alabama needs to do. And they probably would never do it, but it'd again be an expose into the character of the state of Alabama and its people.
I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, baby. Don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. Blitz, Bama, blitz, baby. Blitz, Bama, blitz. I love America and I love the Tide, baby. And I love Will and Adele. Yeah, right. Don't give a shit about piss but the Tide.
If they should have been doing Saturday, as the game was obviously not going to be won by Alabama, somebody should have been emailing this guy right here. Yeah. Somebody should have been emailing Deion Primetime Sanders. He no longer has Travis Hunter and Shador, other players that he brought along with him. He did his job, got them boys to the league. Not that Deion is an all-world coach and won national championships. He just got into the game. But what I can tell you is when you look at the landscape of college football, pretty much the makeup of any team. But I will say, I looked at the Alabama team yesterday, and I noticed something about them that you didn't usually see. And I'm like, yeah, bro, like it's changing under Kalen DeBoer. But I will say, the landscape of football, and when you look up and see who them hitters is, them head knockers out there, those type of guys now being made instant millionaires. Those type of guys will look up to and respect a guy like Deion Sanders. Someone that knows what it's like to have that at a young age. He still has that type of personality. I'm shined up. You ain't outshining me. You're not intimidating me. You can't tell me Kalen DeBoer and some of these coaches out here, even though they making money, bro, like to have these kids with the kind of, because the word is the Kalen DeBoer want to be friendly with the kids. I tell one of them little son bitches, get your goddamn mind right. You don't want to do that. Deion would. There's other coaches, but I think for the University of Alabama, and the type of talent that we bring in from in-state and other places, but mostly in-state, I think Deion Sanders would have those boys motivated. He wouldn't be intimidated. It'd be a cool mess. And I think the motivation of the players goes very far when you're talking about the product on the field. Now, it may never happen. You know, the powers that be in Alabama may rather lose than hire someone like Deion Sanders. You dig what I'm saying? But it's a reason that Nick Saban started doing commercials, Aflac commercials, featuring Deion Sanders. Now, overall, sure, it was to introduce him to the bigger world of coaching in college football. But you got to know how to read between the lines, bro. And that was the introduction to the Alabama fan base of the possibility of Deion Sanders becoming the next coach. And I wouldn't doubt that if you went to message boards and comment sections and all that, you know, the pushback was probably so vitriolic, just so uber racist, bro, that they, you know, anybody that was thinking about it, Nick, whatever, probably abandoned the idea. But I'm telling you, bro, it would be a stroke of genius if they started putting in the works right now. Actually, I'll give you 3 names. The third one, I don't know, but I like what I've seen. My first choice would actually be a Lane Kiffin. I like Lane, bro. He done got a defense at the Ole Miss, but I think he's got a chance to get one and bring in some people that are having one at a place like the University of Alabama. Number 2, Deion Sanders. Number 3, a guy that we just saw run circles around us Saturday, and he's giving us hell years past. You dig? And that's Gus Malzahn. Gus done died his hair. Gus got that Florida swag. You feel me? He back. I wouldn't be mad at him shooting a message to Gus Malzahn. Yeah, I wouldn't. So any of those 3 names, if the University of Alabama wants to. I mean, at this point, I guess anybody is probably better than Kalen DeBoer, but you can't go out and hire another just whoever guy. He came from the national championship, but it wasn't a good showing, man. So, those are my feelings on the subject, bro. I'm gonna keep watching. I'm gonna watch them Saturday. They should pull out a win against ULM. We lost 4 ball games last year in disgusting fashion. You dig what I'm saying? And we started the year out with it, bro. And outside of a collar shirt, I don't see anything different from Kalen DeBoer. And so I got a feeling it's going to be a long season, but it may be a blessing in disguise, man. And so that's my thoughts on Saturday and the Alabama football team. You know, congrats to the people out here that won, that came out with a better showing. LSU, Auburn, Ohio State got at Texas. You dig what I'm saying? So it was a couple good ball games that I watched, bro. But yeah, the Crimson Tide is looking to be in disarray, bro. It's don't seem to be enough respect, enough fire, too much conflict, and too much color in the fingernail region. You dig? And so we're gonna see how it happen, man. How it play out. But until then, it's been straight like that. I'm out.
Here we go.
I don't know what kind of vibe you think you got off me, but I don't play that way.